All right, so in this tutorial series, we have covered how to record video lectures. We've talked about how to create a YouTube channel so that you can have an external place to store your video lectures. And we've also talked about how to add captions to your videos in order to provide that option for those who may have auditory challenges. Our final installment of this video tutorial series is going to be on how to add your videos to your Moodle courses. Under the assumption that you've already logged into your Moodle account and you've already gone into the course for which you want to add this particular video lecture, and we're simply going to, as usual, turn our video editing on, and we'll scroll down to the area in which we want to add that particular video lecture. And we'll click our option that says add an activity or resource. Now, of your multiple resources that you have that you can use to add a video lecture, there are 4 in particular that you can choose from. You have the book option, the label option, the page option, and the URL option. Now, each of these particular options pretty much just depends on how you want your particular lecture to be placed on your Moodle page, your course page. For example, if you want to use the book feature will allow you to create a series of videos similar to what I've done in this particular video lecture series. And it allows your students to go into that particular book and navigate through the series of videos that you have without leaving the book itself. And so, to make it simple, when you think of the book option, just think of actually reading a book and how you're turning pages. And so there are multiple pages within the book setting that allows you to flip from one page or one video to the next without leaving the series. Now, as I just mentioned, the book option, similar to a book that you read, is made up of various pages. And so that brings us to the second way you can add your videos to your Moodle courses is by using the page resource. And the page resource, almost self-explanatory. It simply takes you to another landing page in your Moodle course. So it moves you away from your main Moodle course page into a completely different page where your students will be able to view that particular video. The page option is typically used to reduce clutter on your Moodle page. Of course, on the Moodle site, you have a long list of information that flows from top to bottom. And for many individuals, that can almost become somewhat cluttersome and make the landing page a little too long for some. So a lot of instructors prefer to use the page feature because it takes the student to a designated page for that particular lesson or that particular module or that particular video. So if you want to explore something along those lines to reduce clutter for your video tutorial so your students can just simply focus on the task at hand, the page option would be a good resource to use. Next, you can use the label feature. And what the label feature does is, unlike the page feature, which takes you to a completely different page than the home page for your Moodle course, the label feature will place your lecture directly onto your Moodle course home page. So if you're an instructor that has a preference for having everything on one page, not having to take the students or yourself from one page to the next, you want everything right there where you can see it, then the label feature would be the resource that you would use to upload your particular video lecture. And then finally, you have the URL feature. Of course, the URL feature is the one that we pretty much used when we were doing our video tutorial on how to set up a YouTube account. And so basically what the URL feature does is it places a link onto the home page for your Moodle course. And when students click that link, it takes them to the YouTube site for your particular video or whatever other resource or avenue that you're using in order to store your lectures. As I mentioned in the tutorial on how to create a YouTube channel, the benefit of using the URL feature is that it does not take up server space within our Moodle course because you're linked to an external site for your particular video lecture. Again, which of the 4 resources that you use to post your video lectures simply depends on personal preference. So just choose which one that you feel is best for you and then go from there. For the sake of this particular tutorial, we're going to simply use the URL feature. And so we're going to click our add an activity or resource. We're going to go to our resources and we're going to click URL. And of course here we will go through the process of naming our video lecture. And then the very next field is where we will place the external URL for our video lecture. Once we have our link copied, we'll paste our link into the external URL field. And if you would like to add a description to your video, you of course may do so. If you would like for that description to appear on your course page, you can click that button. That's another matter of personal preference. One of the things that you can do under the URL resource is determine how you want that particular video to come up for your students when they click the link. Automatic, that feature allows Moodle to determine which of the remaining 3 options it will go to. So if you want to leave it on automatic, you can. Embed simply means that that video will be placed on the Moodle site, similar to what you would see on the label feature. Open means that once they click the link, the page that they are currently on will become the link that they click. And then pop-up brings up a completely different browser window for your students to view the video in without taking them out of the Moodle course. My personal preference, I prefer pop-up, and so we'll put it on pop-up. Then we'll click Save and Display. And so now we have that particular video embedded into our Moodle course. And as you can see, here is our video embedded into our Moodle course. Remember that I chose the pop-up feature in order to display this video. So once I click, as you can see, it opens in a new browser window. And now my students can view
how to add
this particular
to your video lectures to include in your Moodle.
So I hope this video tutorial was helpful. Not only this particular video tutorial, but this entire series of tutorials as well. If you have further questions or you need further assistance with any aspect of this tutorial series, please feel free to reach out to me via the information that's placed on your screen, and I'll be more than happy to assist you as your online technology support specialist. Until then, be blessed.